When Volkswagen unveiled the Mark V Passat to British eyes at Birmingham last month, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that this was a completely new vehicle. Gone were the boxy, uninspiring looks of the Mark IV, replaced instead by smooth, curvy styling. The new vehicle has a completely new body shell, a new floor pan, new engine range, even a new interior. In fact, the only thing that remains to connect it with the Mark IV is the name, Passat. So why not change the name on this completely revised model?
There's always two arguments to this. If you start with a new name, not only do you have to get the name across, but then you have to show what profile that name is actually going to have, where that product's going to sit in the marketplace. It is our opinion that Passat has a good name over here. It has a very good name in Europe. Therefore, to change the profile of the vehicle is actually easier than trying to establish it and then change the profile. If you go back 4 or 5 years, the brand was very strong on golf. We saw 2 years ago we introduced new Polo. That gave us the second leg of the brand. So we were then playing with 2 large volumes in 2 different segments. Passat gives us the third leg, puts us into the upper medium segment, which puts the whole brand in a much stronger position where we have 3 cars now, all playing in different segments of the marketplace.
Left-hand drive models are on sale in Europe now, but production of the right-hand drive models have hit a few snags, so it's going to be early next year before you'll be able to drive away a new Passat from your local showroom. Still, they do say that all good things come to those who wait. Don't they?
Yes, there will be some waiting, but to a certain extent, some waiting is not a bad thing. It means that the car can then be built to the customer's order rather than the customer wanting a red one but have to take a green one and they're not actually 100% happy. It's better to build the car to the customer's specification, and then they're much happier, and they're much happier with us and the dealer as well.
Now, one thing that Volkswagen have put a lot of research into and spent a lot of money on is cup holder technology. This elegantly designed dual can system slides out, forming a semicircle around the gear lever. Now, the SE, the Sport and the V6 models have an additional pair for the rear seat passengers too, just so they don't feel left out. Now, Volkswagen really have taken this class thing to the extreme. Look at that, no flicking back, a nice smooth movement. And take a look at the ashtray. Damped and very slick. The smooth curving lines of this well-appointed and extremely clear and user-friendly dashboard are set off by this 3-spoke steering wheel. But you know, I can't help thinking it should have an Audi badge in the middle. The great mystery is how on earth this car can have the features and the feel of many executive cars, yet have a starting price of just under £14,000.
It's what we call the effect that Dr. Lopez has had on purchasing back in Wolfsburg, where they've managed to bring down their purchase costs and actual build costs of cars. It's also this idea of now using common components right through all 4 brands that are owned by Volkswagen. It doesn't mean that the brands are the same. It's using a library of parts, and each engineering team create their own car from those library of parts, i.e. gearboxes, engines, floor pans, etc. And this again helps to bring costs down. And Volkswagen in Germany sees that there is a big potential in the UK market, and they see that there is a big potential within the fleet market. So here we have a vehicle that has to compete with its competitors.
This car certainly does have power and an awful lot of refinement. But for the real speed freaks amongst you, you can look forward to getting behind the wheel of the V6. 2.8 litre, 30 valve with permanent 4-wheel drive, which will be hitting the streets next spring. A big Passat criticism in the past was the gears. They were really notchy and quite difficult to get in. Well, that's not the case this time. They're absolutely smooth as anything. One feature that's available on the Passats is an optional extra at around £1,500 if you're feeling like you really want to splash out, is a great navigation system. Now, we saw something like it a couple of weeks ago when we did the NEC special in the new Ford Mondeo. The great thing about this one though is that whereas the Ford Mondeo's panel was situated down near the gears, which you had to look down to all the time, on the Passat it's right in front of you on this fabulous little dashboard. And you can get your directions just from looking straight ahead. So let's give it a go. I don't know Newcastle that well. I'm getting a bit lost. Let's see if it works.
Your position is located outside of the digitized road network.
Well, that's typical. They haven't mapped Newcastle yet, which hopefully should be addressed by the end of next year for those people that are interested. Have you wondered why it's that rather authoritarian female voice? Sounds like a school teacher or a nanny, doesn't it? I mean, I know some of you out there would rather have a breathy young female saying, go straight ahead and don't stop, but somehow I think it might take your mind off your driving.